All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to Shri Shri Guru and all glories to Shri Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. Good to see all of you again. And I gathered from Vaishnava Prabhu to continue, otherwise I would jump the lessons, right? He said continue so that could be recorded news for future. So we will continue with lesson 4. We finished the first 3 lessons. And there are 15 lessons. So if I don't finish them, this hopefully next week will come again, and hopefully all of you can make it. And if not, I'll be back at the end of the month, and then I can still do them. Is that okay? Thank you. So remember, the main thing about the Vaishnava Etiquette is that the lessons all of you are learning, it's meant to be, for each of you, it's meant to be practiced. Okay? It's not for you to have the knowledge and use it as a tool to attack other people. Okay? That's not the goal. The goal is for you to develop your level of advancement, your consciousness, and how you interact with different devotees. Okay? So if you understand that, it becomes easy. Prabhupada says, Parena parichyate. That means you can see by the fruits of that, in this case, the education that you are getting now, you will see the fruits of that education in how you apply in your life. And so within a few months, if you adopt some of these principles and etiquette that you are learning, you will see yourself how you view the culture of Krishna consciousness, how you see things. And you also see that you are seeing things differently from when you first joined the movement. So that's the whole idea. Prabhupada also says education is understood by how far a man is educated. That's what it is, right? Or when I say man, it includes women. Okay, so by his behavior or her behavior. Okay? We can see by a person's behavior whether they are educated or not. And we can also see by their vision of life, and not by the degrees they accumulate, right? I have university degree, I have a PhD, I have a master's. That's not real education. That's not material education. Real education is how you apply things in your life, how you interact with people, how compassionate you are, how much empathy you have towards other human beings as well as living entities. So, Atmavad Sarva Bhuteshu Ya Pashyati Sa Pandita. That means you can see the quality of a person, how learned he is by his behavior. Okay? So today we will look at the qualities of devotees. What is the main principle in all this Vaishnava Etiquette?
Never forget Krishna.
Huh?
Remember Krishna and never forget Krishna.
Always remember Krishna and never forget Krishna. Yeah. So whatever you do, you should understand that your activities must be enabling you to remember Krishna in your life. Whatever you do, even when you go shopping, you should try to see where Krishna is, whatever you do. Okay? That's the challenge all of you have, and that's your homework from now till the time you leave your body. Yeah? How much you can see Krishna. Okay, so don't use this knowledge to belittle someone or make them appear less favorable to other people. Don't do that. That's not our goal. Vaishnava is very compassionate and he's always grateful. Alright, let's look at the qualities. This is from Adi Lila. Vaishnavira guna grahi nadekai dosha kayamano vakya kare Vaishnava santosha. And the synonyms or translation, he always accepted the good qualities of Vaishnavas and never found fault in them. He engaged his heart and soul only to satisfy the Vaishnavas. So the most important thing in this verse, this is regarding this personality, one of the associates of Lord Chaitanya, Pandit Haridas. He's not the same person as Haridas Thakur. Okay? He has this wonderful quality known as Gunagrahi. Means he always sees the good qualities in others. Right? So you have to reflect with yourself how often you see good qualities in others. Right? You cannot pick and choose. I like this person, so therefore I see good qualities. I don't like this person, I always see bad qualities. One time there was a devotee, I shouldn't say one time, but anyway, years ago in Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur's time, there was a cook. And the cook was very harsh. When devotees would come, he would scream and he shouted at them and he was very harsh with them. And unfortunately one day he died. And so after the cremation, they all came and they were talking about the cook. So most people, they stood up and say, he was very heavy with me, he was very strong, he worked and so on. Whilst they were talking in the doorway, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was there. And he said he had one wonderful quality. Maharaj was saying to his disciples and everyone else, he had one, and they were all looking at him. He always had nice tilak and clean clothing. And then he walked away. So it is very important, when the Acharya is showing us, we should always look at anybody that you meet, look for their, see what good qualities they have. Don't look for bad qualities. Now we all have both good and bad qualities, right? How many of you have both good and bad qualities? Everyone, You can't say, I only have good qualities. Right? You go in the mirror and say, oh my God, I only have good qualities. There's a song, oh Lord, it's hard to be humble when you're perfect in everything. Oh Lord, it's hard to be humble when you're too good in everything. But we can't be like that. Always the best in everything. We can't think it. We are not like that. So every human being has both good qualities and faults. Therefore, Sajjana Gunam Icchanti Dosam Icchanti Pamaraha. Everyone has a combination of faults and glories. Okay? But we should remember, flies seek sauce, bees seek honey. So a Vaishnava or a sober man, he accepts only a man's glories, not his faults. So something for all of you to think about, reflect when you go back. This should be a lifelong activity for you, because you all are Vaishnavas or practicing Vaishnavas. If you want to call yourself a Bhakta, Bhakti, or Vaishnava, you must practice properly. Yeah. Remember, look at the flies on the bottom picture. They're going after something disgusting. Right? Whereas you look at the honeybees, they go to seek honey. For Haridas Pandit, he never found fault with any Vaishnava, but he always considered only their good qualities. You should carry with you a notepad, and whenever you see someone's good quality, put their name down, say they have this good quality. Yeah, and then when I meet them, I will highlight this to them. Right? You can do that. Or you don't need to carry anything and just... The tendency for the human being is to look for faults. Yeah. This material world is full of faults. So therefore, we have a tendency to look for faults. Our nature is not that. We are pure souls. We are meant to look at things, what Krishna has given us. Everything is wonderful. What Krishna has given is wonderful and beautiful. And so it's very important that we understand how to move on in life in the right manner. So qualities of a Vaishnava. Sarva Maha Gunagana Vaishnava Sharire Krishna Bhakti Krishnera Guna Shakali Sanchare. This is from Madhya Leela. A Vaishnava is one who has developed all good transcendental qualities. All the good qualities of Krishna gradually develop in Krishna's devotee. Okay? It doesn't mean you will be equal to Krishna. No. It means you have the qualities, but Krishna's qualities is infinite. 100% you can say in terms of percent. But we will have some percentage, minute percent, but we will develop all those good qualities instead of developing bad qualities. Yeah. That's a famous verse. This is quoted from the 5th canto. Yashyasti bhakti bhagavati akinchana sarvai gunis. Yashyasti bhakti bhagavati akinchana sarvai gunis tatra samasate sura arava bhaktasya kuto mahan guna manoratena sati dhavato vahi. It's a famous verse. It's good if you want to memorize this verse. In one who has unflinching devotional faith in Krishna, all the good qualities of Krishna and the demigods are consistently manifest. However, he who has no devotion to the Supreme Personality of Godhead has no good qualifications because he is engaged by mental concoction in material existence, which is the external feature of the Lord. If we do not develop devotion to Krishna or Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we will be bewildered by the material energy. That means whenever you are out in that world, you are overwhelmed. You can't think of Krishna. You cannot remember Krishna. But if you do bhakti process, if you take it up seriously and sincerely, even when you are out there, suddenly Krishna himself will force in your mind and say, hey, I'm here. And then you think, no, I shouldn't do window shopping for so long. I should go back. Like that. So it is important. In the beginning, of course, you may not have pure devotion, but it comes through practice. It is up to Krishna to grant you pure devotion. You can't say, I have chanted 16 rounds, therefore Krishna, you give me pure devotion. No. This is called causeless mercy. You can't force him to give you the blessings, but you can convince him that you deserve it by always showing that you are developing this mood of servitude and loving affection for him. Then he will feel captured. Bhakti is not something he gives freely. Krishna is afraid to give. Why? Because if you have bhakti or pure devotion for him, he becomes captured by you and then you control him. Bhakti is the domain of Srimati Radharani. She controls Krishna like a string. So therefore he is very unwilling to give you pure devotion. But if you do service under the guidance of your spiritual master or senior devotees, Vaishnavas, then eventually Krishna will say, oh, I have to give them pure devotion. No, Radharani will intervene on your behalf and say, you have to. And that's how it all starts. Okay? Alright, so these are nice things to know, that if you do bhakti properly, if you associate nicely, if you don't commit offenses, and if you respect one another, we are guaranteed to have the blessings of the Lord. Okay? Now there are 26 qualities of Vaishnavas. Kripalu, Akritadroha, Satyasara, Sama, Nidosha, Vadanya, Mridu Suchi, Akinchana, Sarvopakaraka, Shanta, Krishnaika Sharana, Akama, Aniha, Stira, Vijita Sadguna, Mita Buk, Apramatta, Manada, Amani, Gambira, Karuna, Maitra, Kavi, Laksha, Mauni. So in English, devotees are always merciful, humble, truthful, equal to all, faultless, magnanimous, mild and clean. They are without material possessions, akinchana, and they perform welfare work for everyone, sarvo bakaraka. They are peaceful, surrendered to Krishna and desireless. Now, they are peaceful, surrendered to Krishna. Krishnaika Sharana, that is the most important point in this verse. If you surrender to Krishna, all the other 25 qualities manifest automatically. You can develop the other qualities on your own, but you may not develop surrender to Krishna. But if you try very hard with all your activities, you try to please Krishna, please his devotees, and you surrender to all the instructions of Krishna, that's Krishnaika Sharana, then you capture Krishna's mercy. Not only Krishna, you capture the hearts of all the devotees. And when you capture the hearts of devotees, what happens?
Krishna comes.
Huh?
Krishna.
Yeah, Krishna comes, but before that, what happens? You guys are not associating, that's why. You get the blessings of devotees, you get their mercy, you get their loving exchanges. And because of that, they give you the ability to make quick advancement. Very quickly you make advancement if you have right association. If you are wondering why you are not making advancements, maybe because you are not associating properly or you are associating with the wrong people. That's why you may not be, or you are committing offenses. These are the reasons why you find you cannot surrender to Krishna. Right? Alright. Okay, and desireless. They are indifferent to material acquisitions. That means as you become more and more devotional, you don't want many material things. Even if it comes to you, you use it in the service of Krishna. You try to use it in the service of Krishna. and are fixed in devotional service. They come every Sunday. No, you guys don't have every Sunday feast. Have to change that sometime in the future. But they come and do services every time there is services. They completely control the 6 bad qualities: Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, and Matsarita. Yeah. Okay. So they control these 6 bad qualities. And what else? They eat only as much as required. Now, that's a problem, right, with many devotees. We eat with our eyes and not with our stomach. So when you see you want to make so much plate, you take home, then you like, and then what happens? Waste. You throw, no? You throw prasadam, Krishna is watching you. One day you will be without anything to eat. Sometimes you find that, right? You go to some work seminar, nothing to eat, you starve for the whole day. Because you threw prasadam. So Krishna is taking revenge on you. Alright, they eat only as much as required. And they are not inebriated. They are respectful, grave, compassionate, and without false prestige. They are friendly, poetic, expert, and silent. So like in Janmashtami, you all should have a competition, not competition, but make all the devotees write a poem to praise Krishna. You don't have to write like 10 pages long, just a couplet, right? Everyone should participate. So why it's important? Because when you write, you're thinking about, and so you actually develop your consciousness in a positive way. So, Janmashtami, one of the things. So they can come and recite what they've written. It would be nice, actually. And by doing that, you become expert also, daksha. And silent means we don't talk unnecessarily. Don't talk nonsense. We try to talk about Krishna and his devotees. So basically this is Vaikuntha community. If everyone is focused on performing devotional service and trying to interact in a favorable way with one another to enhance our Krishna consciousness. Okay? Alright? Now you can stop me if you have questions, otherwise we'll move on. More qualities. This is a famous verse from the third canto. Who says this verse? Kapila Muni. Titikshava karunika surida sarvadehinam vajata sattva shantaha sadhava sadhu bhushanaha. It's a nice verse for you all to also learn or memorize. Devotees are always tolerant, forbearing, and very merciful. Tolerant means you don't mind what? Inconveniences. You don't mind that. Forbearing. Difficulties. And very merciful. Always willing to lift another person's consciousness. They are the well-wishers of every living entity. They follow the scriptural injunctions, and because they have no enemies, ajata satra, that means no enemies. They are very peaceful, shanta. These are the decorations of devotees. So you can ask yourself, am I always tolerant? Do I have to work on it? Mom didn't cook lunch on time, so you get angry with your mom. Be tolerant. She may have so many things to do. Forbearing, and are you merciful to others who are not in similar situation or in a worse of situation? So it's important. Alright, there are two types of characteristics, primary and marginal. We call them Mukhya Lakshana and Tatastha Lakshana. Mukhya is the primary, Tatastha is the marginal. That means following the primary things. Okay. Now, what is the most important of these qualities that we are discussing?
So you should be surrendered.
Yeah, what is that in Sanskrit? Krishnaika Sharana. You got almost right. Krishnaika Sharana. Alright, so the principal characteristics is exclusive surrender to Krishna, and all the other characteristics are dependent on this primary characteristics. Okay? So you can ask yourself, you don't need anyone to monitor you. You can actually gauge how much you are surrendering in your life. Then you know yourself how much you cheat Krishna. Right? You earn, let's say you want to donate, you say $1 for Krishna and $2 for me. $1 for Krishna, $2 for me. Right? That's what we do. So, as we continue with our devotional practices, you come to a point where all the dollars for Krishna, nothing for me. I mean, that's the goal. I'm not saying you have to do tomorrow. If we say you have to do tomorrow, nobody will be here next Sunday. By some good fortune, we get the association of a Vaishnava, and through them we get the holy name. Brahmande Brahmati Kona Bhagyavan Jiva Guru Krishna Prasade Bhakti Lata Bhuj. Right? By the mercy of Krishna, we get a Vaishnava who comes in our life. And by their mercy, they give us so much knowledge about Krishna, particularly chanting the holy name. By chanting the holy name through that association of that wonderful Vaishnava, we get Krishna again through that. Krishna organizes, orchestrates all our life to give us a spiritual master or some wonderful devotee. And then thereafter, by following their instructions, we also attain Krishna. And if you chant the holy name very nicely, you will understand that you are servant of Krishna. You are a spirit soul. It is not that one day you wake up and say, I'm a spirit soul. No, that's not how it's going to be. You will realize everything I'm doing must be done for the service of Krishna, because I am the servant of Krishna. You realize that. It's what it's talking about, eternal position. That's when you wake up. That's when you realize, I am a servant. And therefore, whatever you have, your body, your mind, your words, you use it in the service of Krishna. That's what we are talking about when we say you are eternal servant. Not that one day you get out, I'm not the body. The body, you can't. You are stuck with this body until you die. But using it as in service, you see yourself as a servant of Krishna. That's what we are talking about. And eternally His servant. And therefore, once you understand that principle, you will take shelter, complete surrender. And that's what it says, it becomes the chief characteristic. Okay? And then all other qualities or characteristics manifest because of the blessings of Krishna. Okay. Comments, questions, otherwise let's go on. One's natural position as a devotee of Krishna. We are all part and parcel of Krishna. You have to, at least theoretically, you should know this. We are all infinitesimal parts and parcel of Krishna. As our Krishna consciousness evolves, we will naturally develop and manifest all the divine qualities we were discussing. Okay? So, you should know, I'm always part and parcel of Krishna. And the second one is, the devotee of Krishna is always chanting. So, particularly in Kali Yuga, the best process in trying to understand our relationship with Krishna is by chanting. Yeah. How we chant is very important. We shouldn't chant to complete 16 rounds. Thank you. We chant to please Krishna. So your goal is to, how I'm chanting, not so much how many beats you push, or how many numbers you push. Have I pleased Him by chanting nicely today? Did I chant properly? So therefore, your practice should be very, very intentional. So you need to do a sankalpa in the beginning. Like, what do? You take the phone, put it on mute or vibration and turn it upside down. So you don't even look at it. Or put it far, far away that you don't even have to see it. Okay? So, out of mind, out of sight, out of mind. So then you chant. You give yourself, okay, 1 hour I will chant. After that, I will do my nonsense. Okay? So you focus very, very clearly. Right? Focus nicely. So chanting is very important. And then you find that you have a realistic connection with Krishna. And you will relish chanting. Right? It doesn't become a chore. Oh God, I got to do my 16. You won't say that. And you find that when there's chanting, you feel so wonderful. Okay? The next one, strictly following rules and regulations. Now, if you chant, you get the potency to follow the regulative principles. You chant nicely. Now, if you follow the rules and regulations nicely, you can chant properly also. Right? So you cannot say, I will chant and I won't follow rules and regulations. If you don't follow the rules and regulations, that is called, what is that? Kunjara Snana. You know what Kunjara Snana is? Elephant bathing. Take bath and come to the land and take the mud and sand and putting on the body. So we don't want to do that. Okay? So it's not cheap becoming pure devotee. It's a lifelong attempt in pleasing Krishna and the devotees. So you must have that determination. Just like Arjuna, aka Kuru Nandana, I want to be one-pointed. Krishna tells us, be one-pointed. Huh? Make that vow, keep that determination. Don't give up easily. It's like Krishna is like a slippery eel, you try to catch him, he slips. He wants to slip away from you, but you have to somehow catch him. By hook or by crook, you catch Krishna. But the best way is when you chant and follow nicely. Because who helps us? Krishna. No, Srimati Radharani. Yeah, I mentioned that earlier. So when you follow everything nicely, she is our champion. She is fighting for us to go back. Why is it so easy? Because Krishna takes the mood of Srimati Radharani. That's why he's Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He becomes Namo Mahavadanyaya. That is the mood of Srimati Radharani. So when you follow nicely, she's behind us, supporting us. Okay? So you must guard against imitation, and therefore we should strictly follow Srila Prabhupada's teachings. Okay? There are many people out there who are pretending to be big sadhus, Jagat Gurus. They are not Jagat Gurus, they are Jagat Kangaroos. Right? Number 4. Krishna is devotee's compassion. Now, at the moment, the qualities you see of Srila Prabhupada, it's not so easy for us to understand. Huh? It's beyond our grasp. It's so difficult. It's not. We don't know how Prabhupada is so compassionate. Now, both Krishna and the devotees have made the principle and the process and the methodology very simple, especially for us. If you carefully think about it, right? Before Prabhupada came, you have to chant 64 rounds. That's about 8 to 10 hours of chanting. All the kids are like, oh no, where's my playtime, right? Yeah, then Prabhupada understood, that we want to have playtime. So then he said, okay. First he said 32 rounds. Then the devotees said, oh Prabhupada, it's like 4 hours, 5 hours still. And Prabhupada said 2 hours. Then he said 16 rounds. 2 hours and no more, he said. No less, he said. So he wasn't willing to bring it down. So, and then later on he came back and the devotees were still, fallen, crestfallen, thinking, oh, it's so hard, all this. Prabhupada said, I have a back door to Krishna. Just hold on to my dhoti and I'll take you. He was so compassionate. So all we have to do is follow the teachings of Srila Prabhupada and you will go back to Godhead. But if you think you can find somewhere else some kangaroo, then go on, hop out of this place. Okay. So don't give up, even if you have difficulties. What you really need is good friendship. Someone who's your well-wisher, who can help you. Right? Don't be a loner in a crowd. Right? No man is an island, yeah. So please, try to develop good friendship, devotional friendship. Don't develop materialistic friendship, because it's not going to help you anyway. Alright, so the next thing a devotee should practice, how to develop these qualities, and include nectar of instruction, third verse, Utsahan Nishchaya Dhairya Tat Karma Pravartana Sango Tyaga Sato Vritti. So these are the things you need to do. Rupa Goswami says, if you do that, Sadvid Bhakti Prasidhyati, that means favorable. These are the things. What are these Utsahan Nishchaya Karma? That means first of all you have to be enthusiastic. If you don't have enthusiasm, what should you do?
People who have enthusiasm.
Yeah, associate with someone who is very enthusiastic. Then the more you associate with them, you also will become enthusiastic. Because you want to have those qualities. If you lack a certain quality, you find someone who has that quality. And then you associate and see if you can, if that quality rubs off you. Hopefully you don't get envious of them. That's the danger. But otherwise, you pray to them, you serve them, and that quality through their blessings will manifest in you. Right? Just like if someone can cook nice halwa, you go and then help them, and you watch how they cook, then you tell them, please teach me, bless me. And then you can be a good halwa cooker. Yeah. Right? Yeah. So that's enthusiasm. What's the second one? Nishchaya Dhairya. To be patient. Yeah, be patient. Now, Prabhupada gives the example of a young lady getting married, she cannot tell, I want a baby tomorrow. It doesn't work. She has to wait at least 9 to 10 months, patient. And then they all hope that it's a demigod taking birth. After that, when the child is old enough, they say, demon. Right? Endeavoring with confidence. Next thing is to endeavor. Confident that Krishna will bless us. We will get the result. I know Krishna is kind. I'm not saying it, but I will not give up. I will continue because Krishna will bless me eventually. So you continue doing it. Then after that, we have to act according to the regulative principle. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, etc. etc. You all know this, right? All of you are doing it faithfully. So chant nicely, hear the glories of Krishna. When you chant, Krishna is happy because you are glorifying Him. That's why we chant. Simply chanting His name, He gets, oh wow, He's excited. Wow, they're calling me. He gets happy. So therefore we should, when we have time, we should chant Krishna's names. And then following in the footsteps of previous acharyas or teachers. Not that you go behind them and follow their footsteps. Not like that. But rather what lessons they have taught us. How they have given us instructions so that I can apply in this particular situation. So we understand through hearing from them, not imitating them. We can't imitate Haridas Thakur, right? Nobody can do it. There was once a devotee, this was told to us by Janananda Swami. Here in Perth, he told this. This was in 1993. No, not 1993. It was 1991. He came visiting. And then he said, in the beginning days, devotees were so excited about reading about the Goswamis and so on. So one devotee was so impressed by the Goswamis. So then he started eating less, and then he also started to sleep less. Everyone will sleep after Sankirtan, he won't sleep. He will chant. He also wanted to chant 64 rounds every day. So he was doing it consistently, and for 1 month he was doing it. So during Sunday feast they have big kirtans, every Sunday. So in the Sunday feast he also was there, jumping, everyone would jump up, roaring kirtan, and he was jumping and chanting, and then one time he jumped, and then he fell down, and then he didn't get up. So the devotees all rushed to him and said, what happened? And then when every kirtan and everything stopped, they looked at him, and then when they approached him, he started snoring.
Oh, he was so tired.
Because you can't artificially cut down your sleep time. Yeah. So it's important that we follow the instructions, but we don't imitate great devotees. Okay, so and then we don't associate with those who are obviously among some of you may have family members who are not following Krishna consciousness. It's not that you don't, when we say don't associate means you don't spend a lot of time trying to imbibe qualities they have. It may not be favorable for your practice of Krishna consciousness. Yeah. But you can go visit them and say hi and then spend some time. We their well-wisher, you can bring cookies, prasadam, and then after some time you can leave. But don't stay with them and then reveal your heart to them, and then they will say, no, these Hare Krishnas are crazies, so you leave them and things like that. Right? Some of us have gone through that. Okay. Okay, the next one is, if you look into Bhagavad Gita, there are qualities mentioned by Sri Krishna. He says everything, right? That's a checklist, you can say. Krishna says everything that he has mentioned. I think there's 20 qualities he mentions there. I consider this to be knowledge. Anything beyond this, he says, is ignorance. Okay? And in there also he says, Janma Vritu Jara Vyadi Dukkha Doshanu Darshanam. So we understand that taking birth, dying, going through old age and disease, these are not the nature of the jiva. The jiva is eternal. He doesn't need to go through all this. So therefore we get knowledge. This is real knowledge, that we are not this body. So it's very important. And looking through that list, you can assess your progress in Krishna consciousness also. Okay? Yeah, go ahead and then you can... Okay, next one is simple and straightforward. The whole process Srila Prabhupada gave is very simple and straightforward. You take shelter of the lotus feet of the devotees, and then we should have an intense desire to go back to Godhead. That's all. Chant Hare Krishna, follow the regulative principles, have kirtan, take prasadam, that's it. What's so difficult? Just do it, Prabhupada says. So you must come to that understanding, intense desire. And if you have good, proper desires, and if you're sincere, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will definitely bless you to make the advancement. His mercy will come. The next one, the soul is divine. All the divinity that you read about, all the divine qualities you have seen through the different slides will manifest in all of us. The more we become spiritual and identify ourselves as spiritual, this will be reflected in our existence through our practice. Okay? Alright. Comments? Questions? Yes, bro.
So for enthusiasm and devoted confidence, as you said that giving that example, we should not imitate anything. So sometimes we don't know whether we are doing enthusiasm, like over enthusiasm or something like that. So is there a parameter by which we can self-regulate ourselves?
In the beginning you may not know what the parameter is, so therefore you need guidance. So you need Siksha Gurus. So they will tell you, stop, turn left. Not like a robot, but they will tell you you're over-endeavoring sometimes. Sometimes as devotees we forget, we over-analyze things also, right? And so if no one is there to tell us, stop analyzing, just do it, then we will continue and then we can't do any service after that. So have some good close friends as well as Shiksha Gurus. If your Guru is not around, then you can find yourself making right choices. Okay? Thank you, good question. Alright. The next one is the dress of a Vaishnava. Prabhupada says there should be no compromise in the way a Vaishnava appears. You should look presentable. You should look clean. You should look nice, right? People, when they look at us, they should think, wow, these are very special people. They shouldn't say, oh God, there's a Hare Krishna's coming, let's get out of this place. They shouldn't feel like that. We are all representatives of Srila Prabhupada. And so we should dress nicely, clean clothes. If you can, press and iron your dhotis, kurtas, have good haircut, If not, otherwise you look like a raggedy doll. And and pin your hair for ladies, tie nicely and so on. And if you're putting on tilak and sari and so on, more reasons. But men should, if possible, wear dhoti, try to practice wearing dhoti. It's not that if you don't wear dhoti, you can't go back to bhakti. Not like that. But it's a good practice. Because Prabhupada will like it, the devotees will like it, so you get more blessings like that. So in this age of Kali, there's so much deviations going on. So we should be very careful. So these are some of the reasons we should be careful how we present ourselves. The other good thing to know is when you dress properly, it will help you to maintain proper consciousness. Right? If you are not dressed as a devotee, if you are doing, let's say you are in some place, you may do some nonsense also. But if you are a devotee, you think twice, I can't do this, right? Yeah. So it helps actually. And not only that, if you are a devotee, one devotee told me, she said because she always wore sari and tilak wherever she was, people commented on her and said, whenever we see you, we feel that we have to be more careful how we behave in front of you. So by her behavior, they became better personalities. Something to think about. Obviously, we are not saying you can't wear other attires, other types of clothing, as long as it's chaste. Okay? So think about it. Our identity and our responsibility in service of Srila Prabhupada's mission. Okay? If we wear nicely, we are very attractive. And when we are very attractive, we can preach nicely. Obviously, you should know the philosophy. First impressions are very important. I mentioned that yesterday also, right? How you present yourself is very important. Okay? All right. So dressing should be simple and chaste. Not too much flashy clothing. Chaste clothing. Of course, fashion trends are there, and young girls and young boys like to show their muscles, show their midriff, whatever, but not too much. Right? Yeah. So, but be simple and chaste. Don't make yourself so complicated. Don't wear luxuriously or lavishly because, there will be people watching you sometimes and they think, oh, these people have money. Thieves, they will follow you. They snatch your necklace, gold chains. When you wear luxuriously or lavishly, people also will think these Hare Krishnas are too wealthy. We shouldn't give them donation. No, it's true. They're thinking we are giving money to these people who don't work so much and so on. For most of us who are given up, we should be careful how we dress sometimes. But in all cases, we should be presentable. This is given, everyone should know this. Avoid clothing that are made from animal products like leather and so on. Leather goods. Obviously, some of you may have allergy to artificial products. In that case, if there's no choice, then if you have to wear leather products, just pray to the Lord for forgiveness if you have no choice. Like that. But nowadays there are many vegan products, so you can go and make sure that they are compatible But just in case you have allergy and terrible reaction to wearing vegan products or artificial products, then if you have no choice, then you can ask permission of your spiritual master or authority that you want to wear a leather product. Okay? Yes. Mukunda.
Hare Krishna. Just one wonderful class. So, I know some devotees who would be following that not wearing any products, but sometimes
Slow down, please.
in the car, interiors, all the seat cover and everything, they might be buying those sort of luxurious car, saying I got no choice. Is it okay?
They want to buy a luxurious car.
Luxurious car with all the interior cover, with the leather covering.
Oh, there's nowadays you can buy cars with artificial leather, faux leather they call it. Yeah. But you pay more. Yeah. They can, if they want to buy such a luxurious car, they can afford to put faux leather. No excuse. Okay. Next one. Wear Kanti Mala. Devotees should wear Kanti Mala. Obviously, you have Kanti Mala?
Yeah.
Yeah? So you have Jagannath there, huh? On your Kanti Mala. You've got Jagannath next to your heart. So yeah, if you are initiated, you can wear 3 rungs. Normally initiated devotees wear 3 rungs. If you are not initiated, you can wear 2 or 1 rung. But sometimes people who are not following principles or so on, but they are attracted to seeing a Kanti Mala, they may come and buy from the gift shop. Can you stop them? No, we can't. So we shouldn't discourage them. You never know. They may, if you stop them and then you're like, you can't wear because you're fallen, then they will never take up the process. But you can say, it's nice you want to wear, and then you can encourage them to follow, become a vegetarian or something like that. But you cannot stop people. Just bear that in mind. Because sometimes you'll hear, we shouldn't sell this to non-devotees or people who are this and that. Time, place and circumstance. And then the next one is wear traditional where possible. Right? I know it's very difficult to wear dhotis by the men when coming to festivals. But the ladies always can wear saris. So there's some disparity there. One wonders why. Right? What gives? Wear traditional, wear them nicely where possible, otherwise it's okay. Yeah. Any other comments? Yes, bro.
I wanted to ask what's the reason behind Mataji's? I mean, obviously,
Too loud,
so what's the reason behind? Obviously, there is a certain etiquette for the Prabhus, and then for Mataji's, I've heard you can't have open hair in the temple and hair covered like this. Is that something? What's the reason behind?
I'm not sure whether there is. I've not seen it in the. In some tradition, they do cover their hair. Yeah, okay, the general idea behind covering is to break the silhouette. So therefore, when you wear the clothes, when I was mentioning simple and chaste, that means you don't show your figure. Nowadays, in modern, so-called modern, they like to wear leggings, and walk around everywhere. But the silhouette is like you are practically naked. So that causes disturbance to those who are not sense controlled. And therefore you find, in general, when they wear saris and so on and put cover their hair, then you don't see anything, you just see a block like that. And so it's favorable. Otherwise, I don't know. In kitchens, yes, I know you cover your hair and so on, so it doesn't fall on cooking and so on. I've never, I have never, but if there's some shastrical evidence, then yeah.
I've heard in some classes it was mentioned that
Well, in America, if you bring this kind of topics, then they will say only the Muslim ladies cover. It's not the Vedic tradition, and so on. The gopis don't wear and cover, and things like that. But even among Indian Vedic culture, in some parts of the Indian culture, they do cover. And other parts, if you go up north, they cover less. If you go south, they cover more. But nowadays, everyone is covering less. Right? If you go Hollywood and so on, they don't want to cover anymore. Practically, they're walking around naked. Yeah. Yes, Prabhu?
What is the exact meaning of Shiksha Guru? Because people have taken different meaning of a Shiksha Guru.
Well, it depends whether you want to make it official or you just want to have a guide. In both instances, Shiksha means instructions. So if you say, I have a Shiksha Guru, that means you are seeing them as an authority who will give you instructions by which you will definitely follow. Now, if you are initiated and you have a Diksha Guru, then your Diksha Guru can also give you Shiksha. But if your Diksha Guru is not around, then you have a Shiksha Guru who represents your Diksha Guru. So he will give you instructions that should align with your Diksha Guru. Okay? But in all cases, Shiksha means to take instructions. Is that alright?
Thank you, Lord.
Okay.
So you mentioned about the Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, you mentioned about the official Shiksha Guru. So is there a formal process for that, or is
So sorry I didn't touch on that. The official means you write to your Diksha Guru and then say that you want to take Shiksha from so and so, and then your Diksha Guru will give you permission. And say, okay, that devotee is good, I'll give you permission to take Shiksha, which means he agrees that Shiksha Guru will align with his mood, his sense of instructions and so on.
But don't it happen that might be the Shiksha Guru and Diksha Guru they don't know each other? Like we are here and our Diksha Guru is in India, but then I have local Shiksha Guru. They might not know to each other.
They may not know, but they may not be guiding you, opposing instructions. If you find that the instruction is opposed to what your own Guru is saying, then you can bring it up to your Shiksha Guru and say, this is not what my Guru Maharaj would want, And then if the Shiksha Guru understands that he's not giving, he may change. But in general, if you take officially a Shiksha Guru, it means that person understands the mood of your Diksha Guru. And whatever through your experience, it's always aligns with your Diksha Guru. That's an official Shiksha Guru. Otherwise, everyone is a Shiksha Guru. Yeah. But in the temple authority can also say, make it clear that you take Shiksha from appointed devotees who are senior devotees. Otherwise, every Tom, Dick and Harry can be your Shiksha Guru, and they can give you different types of instruction that will only be confusing for someone who's very new. Right? And if it's too confusing, they may say these people are not organized at all. They don't know what the head is saying and what the tail is doing. Okay? Yes?
Why do initiated people wear 3 rounds of Kantimala?
So that you know this person is initiated. Yeah, the main thing. Yeah. How many are you putting? 6? But it doesn't matter. I personally don't feel so worried about it. It's just that we wear kanti mala. Devotees should wear kanti. That's more important. Yeah.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Prabhuji, my
Is it low it?
Low?
Yeah, because you have a very strong.
Sorry.
Yeah.
My question is regarding the animal products. So, like we have some like leather bags or something, and we are not aware of that time. Now we are aware. Should we stop using and throw them away, or
Leather what?
leather belt?
Belt, yeah. If you can give it away, Salvation Army, and buy a new one, what's the big deal? Yeah. Why are you worried? Oh my God. You attached to your belt.
Actually, my concern is like, I know we shouldn't advocate these things now
Yeah.
after knowing this, but we already purchased that and harm has happened.
Yeah.
So if we throw that away, then
No, don't throw it. Give it to someone else who will use it. You have no choice, Yeah. You know, giving in charity is okay. It's not going to matter anyway. You used to you're a devotee, so that animal is going to get some benefit. And now you give it away. Yes, Prabhu.
Thank you, Guruji, for the class. My question is regarding the Shiksha Guru and Diksha Guru. First of all, I want to know.
Have you all done disciples course? Some of you.
I read through that, but I haven't officially done that.
Yeah. That's why all these questions are coming.
So, like, is there any shastric directions to have the Shiksha Guru, or Diksha Guru is enough by itself if we don't need to have a Shiksha Guru? And another part of it is like, if we're having a Diksha Guru and we are more inclined to have the instructions into our life, and somehow we obviously seek some mentors, do we call them Shiksha Guru, or we just get in their touch to find the right
Anyone, as I mentioned earlier, anyone who's giving you instruction is your Shiksha Guru. You're taking instructions from them.
So is it giving the Shiksha Guru a right to control us, or how it works? Like it is sometimes undigestible, and sometimes, of course, we need to follow all the injunctions and instructions to be humble, and as you discussed earlier. But
Yeah.
sometimes it is going down.
It's actually not so difficult. If you have a Diksha Guru and you feel confident your Diksha Guru will help you, you don't need an official Shiksha Guru. But if you are in a temple environment, your Guru is not around, then how to operate within this temple, you need someone to guide you, right? It's a practical situation. Are you telling me that you read the Bhagavatam and everything you understand? Some things you may not understand. So you'll ask another devotee, what does it mean? And they're going to tell you. And that's also instruction. So you are taking Shiksha. But it doesn't mean you are taking Shiksha in the sense that they, as you mentioned, controlling you. Just because they are giving you instruction doesn't mean they are controlling you. The problem may be that if they think they are senior and this guy has to listen to me, if not, bang, bang, I'm not happy with this person. This is not the right way, a devotee. If I give instruction to, let's say, some of you, and you don't listen, I'm not going to, get lack of sleep or something over here. I'm like, okay, you didn't want to listen, that's fine, and I'll move on, And those who want to listen to me, they will get the instruction, and if it benefits them, hooray, If it doesn't benefit them, it's hooray again, I'll still give instructions, So that is the mood of the person who's acting in the sexual platform. But if they want to control, then they are not Shiksha. Anyway, that's not Shiksha.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Yes, Prabhu.
Shiksha Guru last question from my side.
Yeah, very big.
Otherwise I will be dragging too much.
Yes.
So, regarding instruction, for example, if you give someone instruction and if they're not like following the instruction, did the Shiksha Guru get the karma for that? Or they not following the instruction?
Not following an instruction. I tell someone, okay, you don't eat meat, and they want to eat meat. Why would I get the karma?
Because someone guided them and said that don't do this, but they still keep on doing it.
No, the person, okay, maybe you are confused. When the guru, let's say you're initiated, and the guru gives an instruction, and the disciple doesn't follow, the disciple will get a reaction. That is Guru Agadhyaya. Okay? But when a Shiksha Guru gives good instruction, let's say spiritual instruction, and the Shiksha disciple don't want to listen, he's going to get some reaction also because it's favorable instruction for his spiritual life. So if he doesn't want to follow, he will get some reaction.
And what happens if Shiksha Guru gives the wrong instruction?
Then the Shiksha Guru will have a reaction. It's not that difficult. If I'm trying to manipulate someone for my own sense enjoyment, then I'm going to reap the benefits of that. Yeah? Okay?
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Alright, so let's go to lesson 6. Ooh, Vaishnava Etiquette. Okay, this is from the Garuda Purana. Devotee safari are very rare in the age of Kali. The position of the devotee is more elevated than the position of Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva. What does it mean? It means the devotee take a lot of risk. They go around preaching. They're trying to connect people to Krishna, whereas Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, they have other responsibilities. Universal affairs and so on. In that sense, the position of the devotee is more elevated than the position of Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva. Here when we say the position of the devotee, we are talking about pure devotee. And particularly in this age of Kali, it's very rare. How many people are devotees? Right? And how many people want to help you to connect with God? Most people don't want you to be religious. Because if you are religious, then they cannot sell the products to you. Commercial market will go down. Yeah, all the unnecessary products, things you don't need, won't be sold. Right? One devotee was saying, when he goes to buy things in the store, he just knows what he has to buy, he just picks and comes back. But when his wife goes, his wife says there's a sale and I'll buy this, and she buys unnecessarily. That's what he was saying. So you can understand how the allurement out there, it's always, the material energy is always pulling you this way and that. So my point is, if you're not practicing properly, then the material energy can dull your intelligence and waylay you. So you have to be very careful. But the devotees, they go take risks, they go everywhere. Right? They meet and they hold Bhakti Vriksha and they invite all kinds of people to their home, they open their door. And then they teach them, they give their time, their energy, they spend gallons of blood to make one devotee. Prabhupada uses that word. He says, I spend gallons to make one devotee. And so devotees are very rare. So we should be appreciative and we should invite devotees to our home and have a lot of sadhu sangha. Okay, next one. This is from Hari Bhakti Vilas. The presence of a devotee at the time of death elevates even the killer of a brahmana to the spiritual sky. There's a pastime I heard, I'm not sure how accurate it is, but it says that once Ambarish Maharaj's brother he wasn't a devotee. He was like a debaucher, he's enjoying sense gratification, drinking and all kinds of things. So once Ambarish Maharaj was visiting with Narad Muni, and after the discussion, Narad Muni was about to go. So Ambarish Maharaj said, please, do me a favor. He said, what? Can you pay a visit to my brother? And he gave him the location where he is. So then Narad Muni went to the home of his brother and knocked on the door. And Ambarish Maharaj's brother was in the house, but he's like, go away, stop disturbing me, whoever you are, get out from here. So, but Narad Muni promised Ambarish Maharaj, so he kept knocking. Dum, 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 dum. He said, go away, I'm busy, who are you? If I come out, I'll kill you, you rascal. So, but Narad Muni keeps banging the door. Finally, Ambarish Maharaj's brother comes opening, and then he only has his gamsha, and he's practically naked. He's with some ladies behind him. So then when he sees Narad Muni, he immediately, recognized the saintly person. He asked for forgiveness. He said, Rishi, you have come at the wrong time. I really can't take care of you. But what do you want? So Narad Muni looks at him, and being compassionate, he tells him, when you meet Yamaraj, ask him what will happen to someone who has met a devotee. And then he said, oh, okay. And then he closes the door. He's drunk and he's goes back to the ladies. As the story goes, he leaves his body, and then because of his sinful life, he goes to Yamaraj. And so Yamaraj is about to, sentence him. And as he is about to sentence him, Ambarish Maharaj brother says, he suddenly remembers what Narada Muni, because of the blessing of Narada Muni, he remembers. He says, I have a question. What is the question? He says, what will happen to someone who has seen a pure Vaishnava? For some unknown reason, Yamaraj also didn't know the answer. He was bewildered. He said, I don't know, let's go and ask Brahmaji. So they went to from his Patala Loka region, Pitri Loka, they went up to Brahma Loka. And they asked Brahma the same question. And Brahma also is bewildered. He couldn't get the answer for some reason. His intelligence is not. He said, let's go and ask, Lord Vishnu. So they go to Vaikuntha, Svetadvip there. And then they ask Narayana Vishnu. Vishnu smiles and says, if someone remembers or meets a Vaishnava, they get liberated. So as he says that, immediately Ambarish Maharaj's brother, manifests 4 hands. Because he met Narada Muni. So you should understand, devotees' presence, at the time of death is also very auspicious. That's why we go and chant, and so that the person dying can hear the holy name. So if you have such a situation in your life here, take the opportunity to go and chant for the dear soul who's about to depart your bodies. You will also be blessed by Krishna. Okay? If a dog eater becomes a Vaishnava, then he becomes more elevated than a Brahmana. And if a sannyasi is devoid of devotion to Vishnu, then he is considered to be more degraded than a dog eater. This is also from Haribhakti Vilas. You can see the position of a Vaishnava is very, very elevated. You can be anyone, Sudra, whatever, Nilecha. But if you become a Vaishnava, then you become very dear to Krishna. But if you're simply an ordinary sannyasi, then you're not considered higher than even because what's the point? You're a sannyas, but you don't have connection with the Supreme Lord. The real goal of life you do not know. Okay? So that means you are as good as a dog eater, or even worse than a dog eater. Clear? Jai Shri Shri Gaurika Ki Jai. Even at a time of total annihilation, the devotees of Vishnu do not fall down. That means you're pure, no? You're pure devotee. And therefore, when there's pralaya, the devotees of Vishnu, if they are not dying, they will go back to Bhakti. Or Krishna arranges for them to go back. Therefore, Sri Hari is known everywhere as infallible or infallible, you can say. All pervasive and inexhaustible. There's no need to fear a devotee. That's why Krishna tells Arjuna, Kuntaya pratijana hi name bhakta pranashyati. Do not fear, my devotees never perishes. Yeah. And a devotee never inflicts pain on anyone. That means don't even say anything harshly to anybody. You should not make the other person hurt. If you hurt the other person, the super soul also feels the hurt. The Paramatma feels the hurt. So when you are harshly speaking to someone, the Paramatma is also feeling the hurt of the devotee. And so be careful how you address the devotee. Now here we understand the greatness of the Vaishnava. Okay? Those who worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Hari, are the best of all people, and no one is better than them in the three worlds. Of course, you know this statement, so don't feel too proud because you're a devotee. We are meant to be humble. Yeah. We thank the Lord that because I worship you, you are making me glorious. It's not the other way around. So we thank the Lord. Those sinless, magnanimous Vaishnavas purify the entire creation. Therefore, they are even better than places of pilgrimage. Now, when you go to places of pilgrimage, you just go there, you get some purification, some washing away of sins, and then you come back. But you don't get knowledge about how to go back to Godhead. But if you have a Vaishnava, they can take you back to Godhead. Therefore, they are superior than places of pilgrimage. In fact, about the story of Ganga, if you read how Ganga comes down, she says she won't come down and she's afraid people take bath in her, she will have to accumulate the sins. She said what to do, and what did Bhagirath say? Yeah, he says when the Vaishnavas come and take bath, they will purify the sins. That's how powerful devotees are. So you should feel, in one sense you should feel the burden of a devotee. And so you should practice. Srila Prabhupada has given this to us, and we should practice to prove that Srila Prabhupada's mission and his words never fail. Okay? So keep that in your heart. Those who claim to be my devotees are not actually my devotees. Those who are devotees of my devotees are my real devotees. We don't say I'm Krishna devotee. We say I'm devotee of Srila Prabhupada. We are Prabhupada Anugas, Rupa Anugas. We follow in the footsteps of Srila Prabhupada. You shouldn't be too proud to say I'm Krishna. Obviously, in interfaith dialogue, you may say we are devotees of Krishna. That's acceptable. But otherwise, in our heart, we should always feel humble that I'm nobody. I don't think I'm Krishna. I still have so much material desires in my heart. So we should understand that we are really fallen. And that will make us a better person, better devotees. And then when we speak, we don't speak from a platform of intelligence, nor are we speaking from a platform of pride. We will speak from the platform of a sincere practitioner of Krishna consciousness, and that has a lot more potency. The potency is so strong there will be transformation from the people who hear. Right? It will resonate, and therefore you will want to change your life. And the last one, my devotees who are surrendered unto me and free from attachment, disgust, envy and pride, sing my glories all the time. What is that verse in Bhagavad Gita? Satatam. Yes, Satatam Kirtayanto Mam. Krishna says, who are that? These are my devotees. My devotees are always chanting about me and glorifying me. Why? Because they are always remembering Krishna and never forgetting Him, which is what we are supposed to practice. So when you get a chance, you should always try to chant. When you have free time, chant. Prabhupada says that, right? When you have free time, chant. So chant, because it pleases Krishna. And then you should remember, Krishna, I hope I'm pleasing you. Don't chant and watch TV, Netflix, Bollywood, Tollywood, Hollywood. It's almost so your brain would be wood. Yeah? They are always engaged in worshipping my devotees. So we worship Srila Prabhupada, all the glorious spiritual masters in ISKCON, and eager to hear about Krishna. We like to hear Krishna pastime. Yeah? Yeah. They are the ones who always carry me in their heart. So this particular section is for us to recognize the qualities of the devotees. So look around you, one of them or all of them are pure devotees. As long as they carry Krishna in their heart, and as long as they are distributing the knowledge of Krishna, they are pure devotees. One time, one devotee asked Srila Prabhupada, how many pure devotees are there, Srila Prabhupada? And Srila Prabhupada said, how many devotees are there in ISKCON? Yeah, that's so nice. Prabhupada sees or saw everyone as pure devotee. In the same way, we should also have such a vision, seeing everyone as a potential pure devotee. And if you cultivate that, then this community or your community will become a Vaikuntha community. Yeah. And never fight among yourselves. It's not worth it. If you fight, you will commit Vaishnava Aparadha. And that's the danger. Okay, we can go to the next lesson. Blasphemy of a Vaishnava. Okay. From Hari Bhakti Vilas. Once you blaspheme a devotee, these things will happen to you. Ayushriyam yashodharmam lokam ashisha evacha. Loss of religiosity, wealth, fame and children. There was a man in France, this was in the 80s, and the devotees were distributing Bhagavad Gita, and then one young lady, Prabhupada disciple, she was distributing in one of the train cabins. So in one of the cabins she gave to this businessman, and he got very angry. He took the Bhagavad Gita and he threw it, and then he punched the girl and beat her and kicked her, and she was so damaged and hurt, and he even broke her arm, and then he kicked her out of the cabin, and the ambulance came and took her, and he left this cabin, and the train went. So this was in Paris, and then the train moved away to his city somewhere outside Paris. Now he's very wealthy, this businessman, and he had a big house out in the countryside, and he had he had a wonderful wife and 2 boys, very intelligent boys. Now when he threw the Bhagavad Gita, there was another passenger, and the passenger thought that it was his book. So while he was bidding the devotees, the passenger took that book and put it in his suitcase. And so when he went home, he was so angry with all the things that happened, and he threw his bag and walked. So the servant who cleans usually takes out his things from his suitcase. So took out and saw the Bhagavad Gita, and then she put it in the library. He has the Bible, and then she went. Later on, a few months later, his wife and the boys went to Paris. And on their way back, when they were coming, they had a major accident and crashed into a big trailer. And the wife and 2 boys died completely. And so the news came to the businessman, and when he found out, he was devastated. Everything he had, all the big house, meant nothing to him now, meaningless. He became so furious, he got angry, and he was dejected. And he started to go crazy, smashing the walls, and he couldn't control himself. He has lost that which he held so dear in his heart, and he became uncontrollable. His emotions were unsteady, and so on. So every day he was crying and crying and crying. It went on for at least a few weeks. He couldn't accept it. So one day he was in his office crying and looking up at the library books, and he saw the Bhagavad Gita. He didn't get angry this time. He took the Bhagavad Gita and he started to read the Bhagavad Gita. And as he read, he realized the weight of the knowledge, and he also had realization that this makes sense. And all of a sudden he realized that this is so valuable. And he talked about the soul and so on. So he wanted to know about the souls of his wife and 2 sons. So then he looked at the book, and then he was thinking, that lady, she gave me, I have to find her. And so he went to Paris looking for that lady. And now why I'm saying is to say that there's a loss of religiosity, wealth, fame, and children. He was a famous businessman, and he stopped working, and he lost his children, he lost his wife, and then now he went to Paris looking for that lady. So he described her to the people in the Paris temple. They said, no, she has already moved out. We do not know where she is. And so he became very disturbed. He wanted to apologize, but he couldn't. And once he was there, more devotees spoke to him, gave him prasadam and so on. So much so, he felt these people are so nice, he decided to stay at the temple. Then after some time, he completely gave up his business. And he went out on book distribution. Yeah. Later on, he took initiation also. He became a devotee, and years later, in Paris, there was a big festival, devotee. And at that time, he met that lady. He did her so badly. So he fell at her feet and asked for forgiveness, and the lady said, "No, don't ask. It's okay." So just see the power of the devotee. Although his association was in a negative way, but the devotee had so much compassion for him because she gave the book. And we can also see how the Lord put him through a very difficult situation to awaken his Krishna consciousness. Okay? Right. Next one. If anyone beats a devotee, blasphemes, gets angry, or does not express joy in seeing a devotee, that's also considered blasphemy. So you better smile even if you don't like the devotee. Right? Because Krishna is in your heart, the Paramatma, and he knows why are you angry. He is also my devotee. There's one devotee told us this joke. He said this devotee went back to Godhead. So when he went back to Godhead, then he saw another devotee there whom he didn't like. Then so he turned around and said, "How is he here?" So we shouldn't think only you will go back to Godhead. Right? Don't have this kind of consciousness. You never, like I said, look around you. You never know who's going to go to Godhead before you. You may not like them, but they may be there first. So don't hate the devotee. Don't get angry with them. If they are causing you difficulty, maybe Krishna wants you to learn something. There's always a lesson to learn. So you should be having an open heart to understand there's something to learn here. If you go through very difficult time and if you have a good friend or devotee and if they tell you, try to see from their point of view, try to see what they are trying to instruct. Because sometimes if you are angry, when you are angry you cannot rationalize. According to Shastra, when you are angry, your whole body is contaminated. Your intelligence is contaminated. Therefore you cannot understand things. So you have to calm down. Because anger is in the mode of ignorance and passion. So once you calm down, you're in Sattva Guna, and in Sattva Guna you will understand things clearly. Right? So if you're angry, what should you do?
Chant.
Crickets. Chant or listen. What else? Be silent. What? Calm down. Well, let's say you're angry in a situation. What should you do? Huh? Walk out. Yes, walk out and then scream or do whatever, and then come back inside. All right. Get that thing out of your system, or go and have a cold shower. If you're angry with somebody, you say, just wait a minute, I have to do something. And go running around, then come back and say, okay. Alright, okay. Somehow or other you should be up there. Yes?
I just had a question. What if you don't express joy to devotee from another sanstha?
You can't get another?
Sanstha.
Another organization, another religious belief.
Salsa. Another organization. What happens? Are they Krishna conscious devotees? We are talking about Vaishnavas here. Are they Vaishnavas? Yeah, then you should feel some happiness to see. Let's say a Sri Vaishnava comes, you should feel happy that they are coming to see Gauranga. Because anyone who walks through that door is a guest of Gauranga. Shri Gauranga. If you don't have that kind of ideology or thinking process, then you see them as your enemy. Yeah, that's where the problem is. You're seeing differences. But they're also worshipping Narayana, Vishnu. It's the same person. So yeah, you should feel glad that they are. Anyone walks through, you should be happy. Wow, another guest. How can I serve the guest? Oh, a guest is coming, stage left, exit. Snagglepuss. Yeah, there's no coming, I think it's a cartoon. Oh, that's a good question. Thank you.
I meant in terms of maybe not meeting them here, but if you're meeting them somewhere else.
You can always be happy that there's a Vaishnava. Right? We are very rare. So if you see another rare soul, you should be, wow, I'm so lucky. What are the odds of meeting another devotee sometimes, right? Sometimes in the airport, I'm all alone, then I see a devotee, I'm like, wow, so nice. Maybe they have prasadam. Maybe I can share my prasad. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, you should you should try to change the way you see devotees. Yeah, I think that's important. It'll be valuable, then you can open your heart for the blessings to come in. When your heart is open, and if you are vulnerable in that way, Radha and Krishna can sit in there. Otherwise, it may not be so easy. Yeah, so don't beat. Beating here means husband beating wife also inclusive. So don't beat your wife. You can beat a mridanga. Don't beat your wife. Shanagopani says you should beat mridanga, a donkey, and a wife. He says that, but that's not a Vaishnava principle. Okay, so we don't beat a Vaishnava or a Vaishnavi. There are 4 kinds of blasphemy. Now remember, any aparad to a Vaishnava, what does Mahaprabhu consider those aparads as? Yeah, mad elephant aparad. He considers that as mad elephant aparad. Once you offend the Vaishnava, then your own intelligence, everything will be taken away. The material energy will come. Maya Bharita Gyan after that. You cannot control your intelligence properly. And then you will do abominable things. You will fall down. So don't offend devotees. Be very careful. Just like in the case of Sarvabhauma and Amoga, his son-in-law, right? Or okay, the 4 kinds of blasphemy. Finding fault for the apparent low birth. Oh, I'm from a Brahmana family. Oh, where are you from? Oh, you're Sudras. Oh, you're better than you. You rascal, you are no better than him. You cannot hold this artificial hello, Shudra, Sambhavai. We are all Shudras. Very few people follow Dharmadhan samskars in Kali Yuga. Now devotees do, but in those, sometimes you meet people thinking they are very advanced. I remember when I was a young boy, the Brahmanas would say they are very, this is in Singapore, so, but in their back yard, right? We all living in the community, so these guys, they say they are Brahmanas and so on. But in the back of their house, you can see fish bones and so on. So, what kind of Brahmanas are they? Okay, so don't find fault with any devotee who come from a different background and so on. Everyone is a Vaishnava. Once they take the process, you should respect them. Very important. Okay? If you cultivate those kind of quality in trying to, separated mentality, you will also fall down eventually. And you cannot practice Krishna consciousness. And then you find fault in everyone. First you find fault in some devotees, then you find fault in your own spiritual master, then you find fault with the Srila Prabhupada's mission. And we have seen it in our movement. So many people like that, Now if you blaspheme a devotee and very harshly, you can go to hell also. Maharaurava, the hellish planet, you can go, so be careful. The next one is blaspheme for their previous birth. Maybe they have some qualities in this life. So you can see, oh, this is from last life, that's why he's like this. He has this problem, this attitude is from previous life. So we shouldn't find any fault. We should just say, well, yeah. Maybe the devotee has a tick, his eye is always going like that. So then when he's talking to some Madhajis, his eye is going like that, then the Mataji will say, he's winking at me. Then she will go and tell, he's always winking at me. No, these things they happen. That's why I'm giving you up. But the poor guy, he doesn't know that he's winking. So we should be careful. Maybe you see how many people he's winking first before you decide he's not, Okay, so previous birth, there may be some residue from your previous life, and so you should be careful. Don't blaspheme them. Or maybe sometimes they come from a different, maybe it's a European birth, and then we find fault with that. So we shouldn't blaspheme for their accidental faults. Right? Sometimes you grow up in a culture, a different culture, so you may not know certain lifestyles. And so when you come among devotees, they teach you, and you may make mistakes, and that's natural. But then we cannot say, because he's from this family, that's why he's like this. Because he's Sutra, because he's this Malacha, that's why. So these are all blasphemous statements, so we shouldn't say that. Or because he's a white person, she's from African body, this is why they are like that. No, we can't say that. It's very dangerous. You will not be able to make advancement. Even jokingly, you cannot say it. Okay, even if it's a nice joke also for the right? So even for accidentally if they do something, don't. Instead we should say, let's not do this again, be careful, that's all. We cannot go around telling, this guy, it's a fool, something like we should not. We can say he needs to learn more, she needs to learn more. Managers can discuss, but ordinarily most of us we should be very careful. Just like you can see the picture that Daksha, right? He was finding fault with Lord Shiva because he had ashes, because he wasn't dressed properly, so he was finding faults. He couldn't see when he walked into the arena, sacrificial arena, everyone stood up except Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva. But Lord Shiva is his son-in-law. So he's thinking he should stand up. But what was Lord Shiva doing?
Meditating.
Yeah, he was meditating on the super soul. And this guy, Daksha, couldn't see that. And therefore he was finding fault. So be careful, no? You may think you are great personality, but never doubt there are very simple devotee who is more advanced than you. Yeah. And the last one is blaspheme for their faults that are almost rectified. Almost rectified. They may make some mistake here and there, but they are already purified. Yeah. Yes, Prabhu.
So there are two types of aparat. One can do through their mind, and the other one is like
Physical.
through your body.
Yes.
So in Kali Yuga I've heard, and sometimes unintentionally, even through the mind, because mind is contaminated.
Yes.
Even though we understand, we still are seen as soul, and we know mind is different, intelligence is different. But there is that mind aparat which happens. So what is the consequence of that in Kali Yuga?
You are talking about if you think something negative, now according to Shastra there is no reaction in the mind. But if you are always thinking, eventually your thinking process will become willing and feeling, and so it will come out. So therefore you shouldn't even, if you think, let's say you think something bad about someone, what should you do? What should you do?
Stop thinking.
He says stop thinking. What else should you do? Huh? Glorify the person. That's a good answer. What else you should do? One last thing.
Ask
Krishna that why am I getting these feelings? Can you please help me get rid of
Yes. Approach the deity, approach the senior Vaishnava and say, I'm having these negative feelings towards this devotee. Help me. What is wrong with me? I have a mental health issue. Yeah, it is. We all have mental health issues with Krishna. So we came here. Okay, so these are positive activities. Krishna will be very happy that we are opening ourselves for rectification. I want to be fixed. I don't want to see this devotee in this way. Help me. Okay. Thank you for that.
Sometimes the being judgmental or a bit on it is more like a prejudicial thing, which sometimes also helps us to get, like if we see like example, a community of cheats or thieves, we know that anyone who associates with them is automatically a thief or a cheat, right? So that sometimes that prejudice helps us in saving ourselves. So how do you differentiate whether that thing is a prejudice of our mind or is it something associated? Obviously this is not only related to Vaishnava, but when we deal with other
In your case, it's very similar to your earlier question also. When you are not sure whether you are addressing this properly, you always defer these questions to a higher authority. Seek their guidance in such situation. And that should be easier for us. On our own, we are 9 out of 10 times we will make the wrong decision. So it's better to ask someone who is in a superior position who can guide us. Yeah. All right. So let's go to the forgiveness part. If you blaspheme someone, how to ask for forgiveness? Okay. What to do when one commits a Vaishnava aparadha. After this we will finish. First you must sincerely feel repentance. Knowing what are the consequences, you should understand it's not good for you and should feel repentant. Sincerely feel repentant. And then you approach the devotee you have committed offense, cry at their lotus feet and ask them to forgive you. This is a hard one. Right? But you should do this because as soon as you do this, the burden from your shoulders you will find the whole feeling will go off your chest. If you have never done it, then do it. And experience the mercy of the Lord lifting that dark feelings in your hearts. You will see it. It's so positive. Alright, so you should feel repentant. Oh, why did I do this? Sometimes you do that, right? You say something harsh and then you go home and say, why did I do that? So then you can either call them or the next time you see them, fall on their feet and say, look, I'm a fool, forgive me. Yeah. Once you do one time, it becomes easier to ask whenever you make a mistake. It's easy because you know this is good for you. Yeah. But you cannot artificially do this because then you won't feel the blessings of the Lord. Yeah. The super soul is in your heart and he will know whether you are for real or not. And then you find if you are not sincere, then you will lose the taste for chanting. And slowly you'll go away. You'll find more and more faults with all devotees. Now the offended devotee, let's say someone offended one and that devotee, when you come and cry at the feet of that devotee must feel forgiveness. Must say, yes, I will forgive you. Because that's the quality of a Vaishnava. Sometimes it's hard to forgive. But now this is a tricky situation. Maybe the person is always finding faults with you. And then they will come and ask for you. Then you hear from another devotee, they said something bad about you. So what to do? So if you just have a
Maintain distance.
yes, maintain a respectful distance. You don't have to be close with them. Just pray to the Lord and say, help this devotee. For some reason, probably in my last life I was his or her enemy. In this life, he is my enemy. So please forgive that person and let me be peaceful. Please give me peace. Because I want to have a relationship with you, my Lord. So you give me peace so that I can continue this relationship. Right? Yeah. Avoid offending others. Right? It's easier said than done. As Sitaram Prabhu was saying, offer praise to devotees when opportunity arises. Right? This is a test on your ego also. So you will know whether you are favorable to them or not. If you can't praise them, then means you have a problem. You need an open heart surgery. Right? So try to practice sincerely and always tell the Lord, although I didn't feel that I said it nicely, please don't allow me to regress in my Krishna consciousness. I want to be sincere when I praise someone. So these are positive ways you should approach the Lord. The Lord is there so that we can pray to them. It's not just a murti standing there, We have a relationship with Sri Sri Gauranitai. So develop your relationship. Develop in such a way that you can have a personal relationship. How do you develop further? Every one of you should have a journal where you write to Sri Sri Gauranitai and say, today Gauranitai, I hate this person. What to do? I've lost my temper. Things like that. I'm just giving an example. So you write your experiences for the day and ask for their blessings. The more you write, the more closer you get to them. And you never know, voila, one day you'll dream about them and they will come talking to you. Right? Yeah. So offer praise to devotees, praise to the Lord. And this is very important and this is the hardest one. Do not criticize devotees. Inevitably, when devotees get together, they will all criticize somebody. Inevitably. There's a joke, I will tell you. The 7 dwarfs were taking bath in a tub and they were all feeling misery. So misery got up and left and they all felt happy. Did you get it? No. Go back and think about it. The 7 dwarfs have different names. One was misery, another one was happy. Anyway, you guys didn't get it. The point is, don't criticize them. And finally, this is from Hari Bhakti Vilas. Now that you have come to my house today, this is what you should say to a Vaishnava. I have become glorified. Next time someone comes to your house, you can use these statements. And my life has become completely successful. I wonder how many of you will feel this way. To be able to see a Vaishnava is as rare as the good fortune of seeing Sri Hari. I must have acquired immense piety, huge as the Meru mountain. That is why I got to see a great Vaishnava like you. Can you relate to that? It's not easy, no? But think about it and see if you can say, if your guru comes, you can say that. Right? But still you feel shy. Right? If a senior Vaishnava comes, if you can say, thank you for coming to my house is glorified now, thank you. Obviously they'll feel humbled or ashamed that you use such words. But this is something you can think about. So that's for Vaishnava Aparad. We'll stop here. We will have more, right? Punya Shoga Prabhu said, when I come back next week, we'll have 2 more sessions. One more? One more at least. Yeah, well, I can only do one, so yeah, I just remember. Yeah. So then we'll continue in the next week. You'll decide which day. Yeah. Has to be Tuesday. Yeah. I could do Wednesday. Alright, any comments, questions? Yes.
Thank you very much. I wanted to ask, like, how you were talking about Kantimala and people buying it. So, if I'm at the counter, is it my responsibility? I mean, I think it is, but I'm just confirming. That should I tell them that you should only wear it if you are vegetarian?
You can say it is favorable if you are vegetarian, but you cannot say they should only be vegetarian to buy that. You could say it, but then you may offend them. Yeah.
And vegetarian, I mean, there are so many different definitions of being vegetarian as well.
Don't worry about it too much. Don't overanalyze. Yeah.
And one more was about the Vaishnava dress. So, is sari the only Vaishnava dress, or is gopi dress included?
As long as as I mentioned earlier, as long as it's chaste. Yeah, if you cannot wear sari or gopi dress, as long as you look chaste, it's fine. Yeah. Because there's so many devotees from different cultures and so on, but the attire should be chaste, both men and women.
So in terms of the point which you have raised on the Vaishnava Prabhu, that the person who is a sannyasi but doesn't think of devotion to Vishnu.
There are many different types of sannyasis.
Yes. So what I was thinking was I wanted to understand the context, because some of them might be based like the Shankaracharya tradition of it. So they consider Shiva and all those things. So those sannyasis also are considered here, or it is just a context of, because Shiva is also a devotee of Vishnu, so automatically that implies. I wanted to understand the context here when you say sannyasi who is not devoted to Vishnu.
Generally, those people in Sankara tradition don't accept the position of Narayana. They consider the avatars, everything as material. So they are aparadis.
So they would fall under that category you mentioned.
Yes. Well, offender.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Thank you for the nice refresher session. So, just two quick questions. So, on that same question, so we said that devotees above Lord Shiva, but if we compare it, Lord Shiva is also one of the greatest.
Were you here when I explained?
Sorry?
Were you here when I explained?
Yeah, maybe I missed that.
Yeah, go on. What's your question?
So, it may be like Lord Shiva is the greatest Vaishnava as well. So,
Yes.
so is it not?
It wasn't compared in that sense. I was saying, although we know both Brahma and Shiva are also Vaishnavas, they have their duties which they take care, universal duties. But the devotees who take birth in this planet, sometimes Lord Shiva also will come and do their service, but they are the ones who are taking the risk going around preaching. So that in that sense they are great.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
The second part of the question was, I just heard that maybe like what we falter is the relationship with all devotees. What I was hearing is we should treat all devotees like they hold the key to Vaikuntha. And that should be the way we should treat all devotees. So my question is, how do we come out of the feeling that I'm following all the Vaishnava etiquettes, the other person is not, right? So how do we come out of that behavior or feeling?
When you're new, you will always see I'm doing, they are not doing, right? I remember one time I wrote to my spiritual master and I said the same thing. I wrote to him and said, all these devotees are not doing this and that and so on. So he said, although they may not be doing it, and you know what is right, so why don't you set good example? So the same answer I'm giving you is that instead of looking at others saying they are not doing it, the point you should ask is, will I also not do it? Or will I do it? Right? So one can say, all the population in the world, they are not following four regulative principles. And they are all happy. So I should also not follow the four regulative principles. That's the kind of argument you are using. So we shouldn't think like that. We should think they can't follow due to some reasons they have. Due to their circumstances, due to their past karma, they may be going through some difficulties and therefore they can't do it. But I will do it because this is the instruction I got from my authorities, from Srila Prabhupada. And so you should do, so others who are watching you, they'll say, he's doing nicely, I will do like him also. By seeing a good example, you can transform another person also.
Thank you. Thanks, sir.
Okay. Yes.
So,
Can you use the mic?
and Krishna Prabhu, please so,
Right.
Guru Maharaja, so this is with regards to the first point with the rules and regulations, so paying obeisances. So is there so paying obeisances to Guru Krishna and all the devotees. So is there any rule in sense that, we shouldn't be paying obeisances at a certain place? For example, here in the temple here, we shouldn't be paying obeisances. We should be paying obeisances only to the deity and not others, and not paying obeisances. So is there a rule, something like that, and why is it so? Well, for me, my tiny head just says, is it I shouldn't distract someone who's here? Maybe that's the reason that I shouldn't be paying obeisances to devotees when we are here inside the temple space. And is there other places or something that we shouldn't be paying obeisances?
When you come to the temple, you pay obeisance. Because you pay obeisance to the deities, you pay obeisance to Srila Prabhupada. In Nectar of Devotion, it says, one should not pay obeisance to anyone else in the presence of the deities. Right. When the curtains are open, we shouldn't pay obeisance to anyone else. We can pay obeisance to Prabhupada. Apart from that, we shouldn't. It says like that very clearly. When the curtain is closed, then you are free to pay obeisance to whoever you want. That's one of the reasons why we close the curtain when we do Tulsi Puja. Right? Otherwise we can have the Tulsi Puja and pay obeisance to Tulsi in front of Krishna. But the person who deserves all the obeisance is Krishna, Supreme. So no one else is superior than the Supreme Lord. So that's the reason.
But Krishna says that, sorry, I'm not it's the rule, it's written, okay, but I'm just trying to think. So it's Krishna says that, I'm very pleased if you are, Dasanudas, and you are respecting him, my devotees. So why then, so I am, so in that sense I am actually following what you're saying, that I am respecting the devotee, I am respecting, so why is it the other way? Of course, he is supreme and everything, but when he's saying, it's the respect. So
it's just Vaishnava Etiquette. You pay obeisance to the Lord first. Yeah. But if you want to pay to everyone, I guess you can do it, because if your mood is that you see them as a servant of the servant, and if you want to pay obeisance, I'm sure Krishna is happy with that. And I don't think he will find fault with that. But the point is, we shouldn't set a standard that is not in the Shastra. So as Vaishnavas, we want to uphold the standards, and therefore we don't break it because we feel something. Clear?
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Just in relation to that, so this is what I do sometimes. Please correct me if I'm wrong and I shouldn't be doing it. But when we pay obeisance to Srila Prabhupada, we say Pranam Mantra.
Yes.
When we say in front of the Gauranga deities, we say the Pranam Mantra.
Yes.
But while I do it, I say Vanchakalpa Turbish while I'm on the floor. So that's like covering all the devotees as well, and while I'm in front of the Lord.
Yeah, okay, so that's done. Srila Prabhupada himself says it, and I wanted to mention it also. After Mangala Arati, the curtain closes, then you have Tulsi Puja. After Tulsi Puja, Prabhupada said everyone should pay obeisance, and that's when they say Vanchakalpa Turbish to all the Vaishnavas. Everyone here and everywhere in Perth, you can do that. So, but if you come at that time and pay, you're paying even to sannyasis and so on. But of course, if you see a sannyasi, you can pay as many obeisances. It only makes you humble and so on. But yeah, at that time you can do that. Yeah.
But like what I'm saying is when I'm coming in front of deities,
You want to do it at that
no,
time?
I usually say it at that time while I offer that to the Lord, and I think of the devotees as well. I mean, while I'm
As I mentioned to her also, that's okay. But this is between you and the deities and you want to wish them. That's certainly acceptable. I don't see any flaws in that. You can ask other Vaishnavas and see what they feel like that. In her case, it was clear because the standard is in the Shastra, we as devotees, we don't break this. We are setting examples. Internally, we can do other things that pleases the Lord also. Yeah.
And similar to that, that also follows that principle of, like you said, we shouldn't wear too shiny clothes or this or that, because ultimately we want, while everyone's in the temple, the attraction should be just to the Lord, and the attention should not be diverted anywhere else or anything else, right? Is that the reason?
Flashy clothes means, it's kind of odd, you wear, or let's say you wear some hat that is sticking out 6 feet tall, then, yeah, you're right, you're attracting attention, yeah. Taking the attention from the Lord. Now, although one can say that there was a case in one temple that two sisters, they dressed so beautifully, and then the devotees were saying, you can't dress like that, it's not good, Then this is their answer. I'm not dressing for you, I'm dressing for the deities. So they said that's their devotional service. Yeah. So, yeah. I thought that was a very clever answer. Yes.
Hare Krishna. There was a section that you mentioned that soul is divine, and also you said that to chant to a soul that is ascending is recommended. And on the other hand, yesterday you mentioned that when you go to crematory, you should avoid going there because of the ghost. So what's the difference with between the soul and
before the body goes to the crematorium, before the person is leaving the body, we chant.
But I meant that what's the difference between the soul and ghost? Why do we?
Yeah, you can chant to a ghost if you can.
No, you said to avoid it, and I thought avoid it
Because if you're not really pure soul, the ghost can disturb you. Yeah, they can haunt you and so on. We don't go to such places. And even then, pure devotees, they don't go to those places. Because we have a job to do with the living condition. So the ghosts and so on, they are taken care of by the Param Vaishnava. Lord Shiva, he takes care of them. And he guides them out of that existence back to the bodily existence.
So when you mentioned that you chant when the soul is ascending, it's just for the devotees or every soul?
Every soul. Yeah. So if you want, you can have a Sankirtan or Harinam party through a crematorium also in the daytime. So you can do that also. Yeah. That's very interesting. Maybe there's something you all can do. But then people will think we are crazy. Yeah. a way that people don't see us in the wrong way also. So that's another. Public must have a favorable opinion of us. Okay? So we'll stop here. Oh,
Hi, Vaishnava Prabhu. When Matajis are in the altar, inside the altar, and dealing with bhoga or doing decoration, what should be Mataji's dress code, or how should they dress? Like I have seen some Matajis dealing with bhoga, but their hair is open. So especially when we are in the altar, dealing with bhoga and doing decoration, how should we dress?
what is the standard in the temple? Huh? There's no standard? So if you have a standard, then follow that standard. In most temples, they do cover their hair when they go on the altar, and even when they're cooking and so on. So you find out the standard here, and then you can ask the authorities what kind of standard they want. Just follow. You go to different temples, they have slightly different standards, and so you may have a higher standard than them, but you cannot impose theirs on the management there, because it may work better for them in a certain way. But you can always cover, and they will not say anything, but you cannot demand that on others also. But if the standard already establishes that everyone should cover, then they should cover. Right? Okay. Alright. Till next week. Okay. Yeah. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.